We are live.
Hello, everybody. This is Klint Macro and Matt Mallory with Meet the Pressers. Tonight's special edition, we're going to talk with some of the NRA board members, including Amanda Suffecool, that you can see right there on the screen. We're going to invite some other folks in here that are currently in the backstage waiting to jump in. Meet the Pressers is a safe place for people who press trigger, who are active with political activism, pro-gun pursuit, Second Amendment advocacy, training, you name it. If it's gun related and education related and helping others to exercise a God-given right, we're all for it. And so, Matt, if you'd like to take over the official introduction for Amanda and the other folks that are just waiting in the green room.
Absolutely. Thanks, Clint. So we've got Amanda Suffecool. Amanda, you've been on the board. You just got reelected, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I did. Cool.
Was that? I heard something like you got more votes than any other member in history, or something. Was it?
Oh yeah, no. I came in
more votes than Joe Biden did in 2020.
pretty astounding, though.
I'm just gonna say I came in third, and third is a good place to be.
Yeah, that's great, especially being the first time reelected. So that obviously that shows that you're doing good things. People are proud of what you're doing. So and we
absolutely.
We appreciate you, and we're glad to call you a friend with everything else you got going on. I am the target, flipping houses, calling them cool names, and all that stuff.
Yeah, I can tell you follow my social media.
Of course.
Yeah. So where do you have the time to do all this?
You just make time. Whatever's important, and for me, the Second Amendment is important, and so that gets top billing.
Very cool.
I think between the three of us here, and including the folks that are going to jump in here,
right?
I think we all have like 28-hour days. I think that's pretty much how we make it happen.
Or we don't sleep. It's something like that, right?
Or a little bit of both.
Maybe.
I don't know. I have to sleep. That's just like the one thing. I gotta sleep.
Really? Yeah. I'm not a big sleeper. So are you bringing everybody in at a time, or are we hot bunking it or something? I'm like, it's kind of awkward that all my peers are watching me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's bring them in.
Yeah.
Let's make it a free roll,
Megan's device is not connected yet, but she will hopefully be connected by the time. And we have Al Hammond. How are you, sir?
Hello, Good, Al. Man. How are you?
Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
Thanks for coming. Rob Beckman.
Howdy, everyone. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so Amanda and Rob have been on the show before. And I'm actually, Amanda, you kind of co-hosted when I was on my little hiatus. But for those of you folks that are coming in, Al and Charlie and the other folks out in the waiting room, we tend to have an open forum. So don't be afraid to chase a rabbit right down the hole. It's all good.
Charlie, where are you walking us to?
Yeah, Charlie, Hilton, how are you, sir?
Thank you.
He
I don't think he can hear us.
He can't hear us.
Huh. We can hear him.
Can he see us?
Oh, I can't hear anybody anymore.
We can hear you, and we can see you, and you can see us.
We can hear you.
Yeah. For sure.
Okay, that's always so much fun.
The beauties of live streaming.
You may have to send him back to the green room until he gets it figured out there, because it's good. We're all just going to watch Charlie, right?
People in Vegas right now are like taking bets on how soon it's going to take him to get his mic working.
He's gone.
He's back.
Well, while we're waiting on Charlie to get his audio fixed there, Al, welcome. Tell us about yourself and tell us what you're championing right now at the NRA.
Well, thank you, Clint. I actually did. I was started out as an NRA employee. I've worked for the NRA for 28 plus years as an employee in Field Operations Division. Started out as a field rep, then was a regional director, and ultimately the director of field staff. So I retired in 2021 and decided to run for the board. Fight wasn't out of me. So this is my second term on the board. I'm starting my fifth year. But I've been working a lot with the membership division. I'm chairman of the membership committee. So I do a lot with that. And I have an extensive background working with the foundation and our Friends of NRA program. That was what I did when I was staff. So I've worked with some of the changes we've had with the foundation and our new Friends of NRA program. And I'm also on the board of trustees of the NRA Whittington Center out in Raton, New Mexico. So, going back to your comment earlier about 28-hour days, I went back to work full time and then some. So,
yeah,
as we all have.
So Whittington Center, that's one place I've not yet been able to visit yet.
Oh, it's an incredible place. 33,000 acres of shooting facility, but everything, conservation shooting. We have hunting opportunities. It's just an amazing place. Over 25 ranges. So it's definitely a bucket list item that you should go to.
That's awesome. I heard you got one of the ranges. You can actually take your bolt gun, fire a shot, cycle the action, take a bite of a sandwich, and then hear it go ping.
You can. We actually do the 2-mile challenge out there. You shoot across a canyon. You can see the white buffalo in the background. We have a white buffalo that's 1,123 yards that everybody wants to shoot. That's kind of the big thing to shoot the white buffalo. So that's a fun thing to do. It's a full-size buffalo target, but it's a great place. I have a lot of activities out there, a lot of shooting events. We have women's events, kids events. We have a summer program for our youth. So there's a lot of activities. It stays busy, but we want it to be busier. So we're excited about doing some new things there as well.
Excellent.
Very cool.
Excellent. So Rob, you're new to the board. So I bet you have all kinds of stories of being whisked into a new situation and being overwhelmed with all kinds of new process and procedure. That's so fun. Can you tell us about your first board experience?
Well, I'll summarize it this way. The first board experience was people found out I don't hold my tongue very well because I made the first motion of the board meeting. And that was fairly simple from where I'm coming from because I want to speak for the members and things like that. And that was to move the executive session to the very end of the meeting. So that if you members were going to be at a board meeting, you could stay there as long as possible because you could imagine if you're sitting there for 3 hours, go to executive session for anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours, how many people are going to sit around and wait that long and come back after that? So I made the motion to move the executive session to the end. And to my delight, because I think we got a really good board, it passed unanimously to adjust the agenda. So that was one of those things that in my mind, we may vigorously debate subjects, but we've got the member, everybody's got the member at heart and what the decisions we do and how we speak about it. And that was, my first motion, I was first person to speak at the board meeting, and it passed, like I said, unanimously, which was a great thing because really, I came in there ready for battle, but it really came to, you were sitting there, debating among friends, by the end of 12 hours.
Well, let me add to that because that was when he did that, I was like, because one of my earlier board meetings, we actually literally argued for about an hour to get an agenda that everything wasn't in executive session. And we argued every single line. And so that group of people argued it and got the executive session kind of tucked into like a 4 or 5 item thing in like a box of stuff in the middle of the agenda. And I think because we'd been at the earlier stuff, we didn't even see what Rob saw. So brand new eyes coming in, the first thing he did was go, why don't you take this whole box of stuff and move it to the end? And when he did that, it was like, okay, yeah, we're all in. But it takes new eyes. And, it was really good.
That's what's exciting about this board is we're on this transparency and we want to keep this open. So this was great that Rob did that right up front. And this falls into right where we all want to be and bringing this thing back and bringing it forward for our members.
Kind of sounds like.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
I was just gonna say it kind of sounds like Amanda's first board meeting.
No, that was the first members meeting.
Oh, members.
Sit down, shut up. You're just a girl. What can you know? Yeah, that one.
There's a lot of booze there.
That was that made history. And thank you to David Yamani who recorded it and shared it on YouTube for posterity. We'll just say that it's so Charlie just texted me. It says that the webinar has ended is what it just told him, so he can't get back on. So
we're still moving.
I don't know. Yeah.
He's still there. He's just like,
I don't know.
Camera's not on. This is what I see. He's still connected.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, going on now. He says maybe he's there. But
while he's still working on that, we certainly haven't. I certainly haven't had an opportunity to talk to all of the board members. But I will say, this year versus times past, it really does seem like there is much more of a cohesive front. People wanting to work together to right the ship and to better the NRA. Whereas in times past, it was very cliquey and battle-y and kind of contentious, I think, is a very polite way to put it. But Megan, you've joined us. Welcome to the show. We would love for you to give a quick introduction, the one page for our viewers and listeners, and let them know what you're all about.
Yes, thank you for having me. So I'm so excited to join the NRA Board of Directors for the first time. This last year, I decided to run because I realized that there needs more competitive shooting knowledge amongst the board members. So I've been a competitive shooter since I was 7 years old. Grew up in Emporia, Kansas on a farm, and have become a certified firearms instructor, advocate for the Second Amendments. I've been a registered lobbyist before, fighting for our Second Amendment rights, focusing in Kansas. And our firearm rights is something that I'm just so passionate about, as well as learning self-defense skills.
Excellent. I didn't know you competed for that long. I was unaware of that.
Yeah, I don't think I knew that either.
Yes, I'm 30 years old now, and I've been fortunate to compete internationally at the World Championships for the ISSF, as well as last August, I competed in Great Britain for the NRA US Randall and Roberts team. Our top 10 ladies competed against Great Britain's top 10 ladies, and we won that international match that only happens once every 8 years, called the Goodwill Randall.
Good job.
Yeah, it's good to see board members that are actually shooters too, like real trigger pressers. I think that's fantastic.
And Charlie just gave his thumbs up. So welcome, Charlie.
There we go.
Oh my gosh. I am so glad guns aren't as complicated as computers. Just lock, load, and pull the trigger. I think I'm on my third computer now trying to log on. So please forgive me.
Well, I've still got you listed on the one that you originally came on. So I'm going to kick that one from the studio. I hope it doesn't kick you out, but I'm going to kick that one from the studio. And you're still there. Good. Yes.
And I can hear you all.
Yay.
And see you all.
That's awesome.
Success. That's what we call
it. So Charlie, tell us what you're championing right now as a board member.
I think continuing the work that we're all doing now with Al and Amanda and Megan and Rob on righting the ship. I think we've got the ship righted now, getting it going full steam ahead. So I think we could hear on our 38-hour days going forward, but I think starting to see the fruits of our labors. And, we have a board that was really working together. The feel of the board, the feel of the organization is totally different right now. And really exciting, and I think we've got a lot of great things in store on all different fronts. The NRA is not an organization; it's an organism, and it's a very complex organism. And I think we finally have it all firing on all cylinders and moving in the right direction. So that's been our day jobs. I think we're all supposed to be volunteers, but I think we're probably anything but.
There's a lot of that. So I want to ask Rob and Megan, because it was their very first board meeting. Were you guys surprised that it was 12 and a half hours long and it really didn't lag or drag too much? I mean, there was a lot of stuff happening.
I wasn't really surprised, but then I'd kind of kept tabs on the board meetings previously. So I knew that some of them went, 12, 15 hours. So I was kind of happy when it was only 12 hours. I was also pleasantly surprised when they went along to actually break for meals, because somebody told me you don't eat during the board meeting, and it's like, oh man, we're going to be hungry by the time the 12 hours is done. So we took break for lunch and for dinner. It was like, I'm glad they fixed that problem.
Oh, if they didn't feed me, that would have been an ugly, ugly room. I'm just telling you right now.
She'd been hangry.
You bet.
Yeah, that's why I was happy about that part, because somebody was telling me we didn't get fed until we got.
They were pulling your leg.
And we don't
I realize that now.
Yeah, we don't want hangry armed NRA board members. We don't want that.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Oh yeah.
So we have our first question. Is the NRA going to work on insurance issue that we have in New York State? So Eric is here in New York State, as am I. And we know that was something that we had a long time ago. Problem that we...
do you want me to fill that one? That is part of our affinity programs. And one of the things that we have to look at is that New York's got a rule about murder insurance, as they call it. Mm-hmm. So they've really kind of gone down that path. But there are a variety of different companies, and some offer like a prepaid legal, some offer like a co-op thing. There's a variety of things. And so New York is not off the table. But we have to walk very carefully, and there's a lot of lawyers involved. And as much as I love my friend Charlie Hiltunen, who is a lawyer, there is way too many lawyers in my new world here, which is the NRA.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a warrior. You know, when we talk about the insurance, especially in New York, you know, when we had Governor Como and the Department of Insurance head Vullo. Department of Insurance and financial institutions in New York was weaponized against the NRA, and they were told to go out after us. They met with the insurance companies and told them, cut them off or we're going to cut you off. And they were actually weaponized government against us. And man, they almost got us, but I think we've got them on their heels now. We've had some great victories with the Vullo case. The only downside is we haven't been able to get to them personally yet, but that time will be coming, I hope soon, or at least the good Lord will take care of them. Karma will come their way.
For sure. I mean, I've always thought that the politicians that put laws forward, if the Supreme Court overrules it and said that there was a egregious overreach, that they should be held liable, personally, and maybe even repay the government that they use to bring those lawsuits forward, because that'll definitely make people step back a little bit and make sure that they're only putting laws forward that are going to be constitutionally sound or somewhat on the edge, not way over the edge.
Yeah, if you figure out how to do that, let us know.
Interesting that government officials are the only ones that have that type of immunity too. Like you and I do something, we're held to it. Now, I'm sorry, Rob, I cut you off. What did you say?
Oh, I was just commenting, Matt. If you figure out how to do that, let us know how to do that in Ohio, because all the 3 C's in Ohio, Columbus, Cincinnati, Cleveland, they're always challenging, firearm laws, and we've got preemption in the state, and they have not won it in the last 20 years. And every time the cities end up paying lawyer fees for the politicians, and it turns into, $500,000, $750,000. And then the thing I think is really bad, the next story on the news is how the city doesn't have enough money to take care of the parks or take care of the rec centers or do the after school programs. And it's like, somebody needs to really point this out to their voters, that they're spending money that they could be putting in these other areas.
Oh, they got money to put those signs up in the park saying you can't carry there, which is kind of interesting. We do the same thing in Pennsylvania.
PA,
Firearms against crime, we win time and time and time again on preemption violations, but we're fighting tax dollars and we're fighting free representation from every town. And
we did get some of that. I'm in Florida, and we have preemption, and we do have that where they are legally held liable personally, and that has slowed that down. But that preemption, I know, is something that we've all talked about that we want to continue. It's like reciprocity. We want to see reciprocity as well. So we need to set this for the whole country where it's uniform across there. New York's just trying to do their own thing and think they're above everyone else out here, and that's what we've been dealing with.
Yeah.
So, and part of that's we are chartered out of New York as well, the organization.
1871.
Correct.
Yeah. First ranges on Long Island. Ain't that something?
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I say that in every New York class I teach. I just taught one this weekend. I had 44 students in it. And does anybody know where the NRA was founded? You can't believe how many people. You'll never guess And they still don't. I mean, we're in New York and they don't even get it. Like New York, they're like, what?
Yeah.
What?
You'll say that in the NRA classes when you teach them, you talk about the history, and then you say New York City, and it's like those old. Remember those old salsa commercials? Everyone goes New York City.
Yeah.
They can't believe it.
Oh yeah. Well, you look at all of our states: New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Delaware, Virginia.
Mhm.
You know, as we celebrate, you know, our 275th year, you look at where it all began, and you know, maybe it's no coincidence that they're the ones that are breaking it all down right now. So
Sure.
So what are you guys' opinion, or what can you speak
Klint.
to? There's been a lot of conjecture about potentially moving NRA headquarters to Texas or to another state that's more amicable. Is that something that is
Hey, Klint.
is on the books?
Why don't we hold that question real quick and let Megan speak about the board meeting?
Oh, yes.
Because she didn't answer yet from Amanda.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Don't want to make her sit there and not get involved.
We need to get our Robert's rule book and call point of order. I apologize for being undecorous, I think is the term. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to agree with, everything that Rob said, except for that I heard that we get the best food on the board meeting days. So I was very glad that we didn't go until midnight, because I've heard of stories going till even after midnight. So it was a long meeting, but we really did cover a lot and kept busy. There was really no downtime. So it was a long day, but at the same time, I didn't feel like that because we were constantly busy. But I enjoyed the food for sure and the breaks to do that.
Now, when you guys do that, is it kind of like Congress, where you see some of them get up and go to the bathroom, and there's different groups and committees, or is it like everybody has to be there and then you take breaks for like a class, like one of our classes? How does that usually work?
You can get up and take a break if you need to, right? They're not going to lock you to your chair, but there have been times when people have missed something because they were out of the room, or an argument came up, or a discussion happened, or a vote happened and you weren't there. And there's actually people that it's been to their detriment that there was a roll call vote and they were in the bathroom.
Yeesh.
Right. So, right.
You snooze, you lose.
Or
you can bring a 5-gallon bucket with you.
Well,
a 5-gallon bucket and a towel.
some say that they were using the bathroom to avoid the roll call vote and not being put on the record. Yeah. So I'm not sure that they were using it or hiding it, but neither here nor there. Who am I to judge?
That's definitely a thing in state capitals. That's for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Pull the fire alarm. That's what happens here.
Yeah. So Megan, you've worked a lot at the state capitol in Kansas. How much is being a representative of the NRA? How similar or different is that as to working with the state legislature in Kansas, like politics wise?
Well, so first off, the format of the board of directors meeting reminds me a lot of when the legislature is in session and debating different things and taking votes and whatnot. So, and I grew up through 4-H, so parliamentary procedure and Robert's Rules of Orders. I'm very used to of all the different organizations that I've been a part of and an officer for. It's just getting the feel for the exact formalities of the NRA, board of director meetings. But relating to the legislature, in Kansas, talking to different senators, state representatives, or from other states and areas, or at the national level, you find some of the like-minded, very passionate Second Amendment people, and then amongst our board members, I found commonalities with the ones that are hunters or competitive shooters, or that just enjoy shooting for fun, or more the gun collectors. And I'd say we have a wide berth or group of all different types of people that enjoy our firearms and our Second Amendment rights, and I connect with a lot of them.
Yeah, it's interesting. Politics is always a thing. When Matt and I get together, just two people, there's a level of politics there, and you get all of us on this call, there's a level of politics there. So dealing with the NRA board member, with the board and leadership, yeah, there's politics, but how refreshing it is that everybody there is pro gun. That's just a very refreshing thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
So,
ultimately, we all have the same goal in the end.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Amanda, this was the second year that you did, or we collectively, the NRA, did the Voice of the Second Amendment. Do you have any data, anything to say about that? Certainly, there seemed to be a lot more pre-planning this time, and it's we had bigger signage and stuff. I think there was more awareness about what was going on. What do you see? What were the successes this year compared to last, perhaps, and where do you see this going in years to come?
Well, last year when we did it in Atlanta, it was an experiment. The John Bailey, so the exhibits, the guy, the grand poobah of all exhibits, he was like, I can get you 10 booths. Can you fill those up? And they were like, I'm not sure. And I was like, oh yeah, we can. So we had 45 days from the time that we decided that we were going to do this and that Doug gave it the nod to the first day of the annual meeting. And so that was a really short period of time, and we were scurrying. So this time we had a full year. So we had Bailey gave us 24 booths. We had 34 different podcasters, and so podcasters, radio hosts. And this time we were a lot more deliberate about who was there. And so we've got some people from Rumble, some from TikTok, some from Instagram, some from X, so that we were looking at a wide variety of platforms, because our goal is to really talk to all of the gun owners. And you're not going to find all the gun owners in one place. And so trying to reach out in a wide variety of places and directions. So last year we did 515 segments total that came out of those 10 booths. We have not done the call yet to ask everybody how many segments they have and what their stuff looks like and where it is. But I am watching on social media as different people tagging different people and seeing the interviews come up and that sort of thing. So I'm seeing a lot more movement and a lot more connection from it. But you guys were there. What did you think?
Well, we try to do something a little different this year, and because of the ability to try to get content out quicker, we just did everything live. So we did 20, I think it was 22 episodes, Clint? 22, 23, something like that.
Something like that. 20,
yeah.
20 between that and 25, I believe.
Yeah, and then we had about roughly 35 guests total on all those episodes. And then that's on top of all the classes that we taught too, and all the students we had in those classes for the NRA. But yeah, I thought it was definitely a lot bigger. But the nice thing too, like you alluded to, Amanda, we had a lot more diversity there with other platforms. That was nice to see. And it gave us opportunities to try to get on other shows we haven't been on before, and vice versa, get people on our show that hasn't been on before. And that was kind of one of the goals too, is to do in-person interviews, because a lot of us are doing these internet interviews.
Right. So Rob Beckman, he had a spot there. So Rob, how did it go for you?
I just sent him my numbers today, but I did 13 interviews with 15 different people. And the one thing I thought was really great from my standpoint, because I'm focused on firearm training for my podcast, is that I was able to go along, pull in people that aren't necessarily the top of people's minds for it. I pulled in people like Seth Saworski from Hornady to talk about the bullet designs for pistol bullets, which, when you get to going along to talk about self-defense, I mean, yeah, you go out and buy a hollow point, but Hornady's done a lot of research, a lot of work along those lines, pulled him in. But the one thing I was really glad, and it was part of that prep work ahead of time, when the committee chairs for the NRA board were made available as saying, here's all these people. And the light bulb went off my head to where I didn't know half of what was available from the NRA. So I went along and had Todd Ellis on to talk about state associations, because if we're all in the 2A space, why aren't we supporting our state associations properly? I had Anthony Calandro on talking about ranges and the services that we can provide, not just to NRA clubs, but to all the 2A ranges and clubs, the police ranges that are out there that we can do, and try to highlight some of these, because even though, I've said it before, I've been a member of the NRA lifetime for over 30 years now, and getting on the board or throwing my hat in the ring over the last 9 months to get on the board, election, everything else like that, I'm finding out stuff that the NRA is doing that I had no idea that it did prior to that. So I had 30 years that I thought I knew the NRA, and all of a sudden, last 9 months, I've quadrupled my knowledge, and where I can go along when I'm talking to somebody, I can say, hey, do you realize that police officers can get NRA memberships reduced? That comes with a life insurance policy, that if you own a range, that you can get help from the NRA range grants, that if you're have a women's group, they've got a whole women's program, all these different things that many times the NRA is just looked at as being one-dimensional, when I'm coming away looking at it, it's multi-dimensional, to where if you're doing anything in the 2A space for the NRA's got a program for you, from the Youth Education Summit to the competitions and everything. I mean, the American Rifle Challenge that they were announcing at the show was really great, as well as they're reaching out to that younger group with the NRA app. All these kind of things, it's like boom, boom, boom. Tell me a demographic that the NRA is not doing something for. And that's awesome. That's the one thing I think I found and got a real good appreciation. I had several of those people on my podcast, and looking forward to educating my listener base on what the NRA is for it, because we all see the media. We don't all, and it's always bad about the NRA. We don't always hear what the good stuff is the NRA offers and how to take advantage of it too.
I think that the app is a huge step forward, and Amanda said that one of you guys invented the app. No, that's not true.
Al Gore's here?
Yeah.
It's not me with my computer skills.
No, but Al Hammond and his group, it was their vision, and it came out of there. Awesome. So Al, talk on that. But also, did you guys, the rest of you board members, Megan, Charlie, Al, did you guys go interview with different folks on the Voices Row? So Al, I'll hand it to you.
Unfortunately, I didn't, because they had me tied up for the whole week with stuff. But I was glad we could do it, and all the people, that's fantastic, and that's part of what we were doing with our membership side. We've been working on this app to bring us up to the 20th century. We weren't doing anything like that, and this brings in a whole new crowd, and the availability of what we can put pushes through on the app and bring information that's current and very quickly to our members. So and we've got it where now you can put it in your Apple Wallet, so you can automatically start looking at your magazine. You can start seeing the benefits. Awesome. And we're still building on the benefit side. It's not perfect, and it never will be, because it's always going to be changing, and we want to keep it dynamic and keep it moving. And we get a lot of good input, and we're working hard now. Even after the annual meeting, we're going to meet again, the group, and go back to the board and say, here's some new ideas. We did hire a new chief technology officer, and part of his responsibility is to help us with AI and help us with how we can grow some of these things with technology today. And that's going to be huge, because we want to reach this market that we're not reaching. And that's what we want to do. We've got to get out there, and it's the board's been fantastic, because I love the makeup of the board. I've been involved with NRA, whether staff or on the board, for close to 35 years, and I see a board that is made up of people with very diverse backgrounds, but bring skill sets. We all bring a talent, but collectively, it's incredible, the group we've got today, and I'm excited about it, because this was a group, and I think that's why our meetings are going so well now in the last couple meetings, because you've got a collective group that's thinking together, that interjects ideas, and they have a skill set. We have over 40 committees, 42 standing committees, and each has, Megan brings a competitive side that's not my skill set, but that's what we need. and Charlie brings the legal aspect, and Amanda brings the media. Rob brings, his training skills in the media side of that. So it's amazing what we've got. But with this app and what we're doing with membership, we're moving a lot of this digitally, and that seems to be, that's the wave. And we can put shows like this where we can have those linked in there. So it's awesome. It's exciting, and I think it's just we have just scratched the surface. We're not even getting started, but we can come up with more ideas, and we can come up with resources to get them up.
Sure. As you get more people logged into that app, then there's data you can collect, and maybe ultimately, I know with many apps, I mean, I'm not an app writer, but I'm venturing a guess the expandability of the app might some way lead to a point where you might know enough about a particular member to where, some of the information Rob said that a lot of members are unaware of, you guys could send it to, send that specific information to those users so they can better utilize that service. I joined in
legislatively. We can do that, and we can have that push, and we get more information. And that's one of the things we're also improving is our database system. We want members to get on the app, put their information in there, give us your emails, make sure we've got a correct address. And, and we can also target, if your interest is legislative or hunting or competitive shooting, we can target that. So we want to do all of that.
So be careful with the word target. It's actually more that you can program where your interest lies so that it feeds you what you're the most interested in. So when you open the app, I mean, for me, when I open the app, the first thing it says is, where are the calls to action? Which states do I need to call or look at or talk about? That kind of thing.
So one of the other push.
So it's there. You set it kind of that. But the cool part is last night I was on somebody else's show and we opened the app. So if Matt, you and Klint have not downloaded the app yet, you ought to.
I'm on
it. Okay, so one of the benefits of the app is that when your magazine, you had to pick which kind. Did you want American Rifleman? Do you want American Hunter? What did you want? When you download the app, you get them all. And so you can pick through them and you can go back in archives. So you can look for articles, you can look for topical things, you can get, so that all of that access is right there at your fingertips. But the other thing is the NRA, think about how big it is. It is a behemoth. And so its negotiating power for a lot of things is huge. And so there's a lot of member perks that have been available in the magazine, but you never really quite figured that out. But things like discounts if you're buying a new scope, or hearing protection, or renting a car or a hotel, or any of those kind of things, the NRA is in the app that under member benefits, it's there. So it's at your fingertips. So as you're planning a trip, you can look in there and see what's there. Or you're planning something for shopping or Christmas or whatever. It's really kind of cool as to how deep the discounts are and how big the benefits are that these folks just keep negotiating and adding into it.
Well, I think it's
go ahead, Matt.
I was just going to say, I think it's a great idea to do that. I mean, with all the members and the industry as a whole, especially with all the negativity out there and the credit card companies and the banks just trouncing on everything we do, the insurance companies. I just got canceled last year for my insurance because I also have an FFL. So it's good to see, and this is what we need. We need organizations like this to come forward with the technology, come forward with the finances, like Old Glory Bank and such, just to make it easier for us to work together with each other, because clearly the mainstay that's out there is out to get us.
Yeah, here's one thing, Matt, that I think is really great. I was talking about how most people don't realize how much what the NRA all does. Within the NRA app now, you can go along, pull up a listing of ranges in the area. And here's one of the things that I really like from a trainer standpoint. It'll show you where the training classes are around you. So you don't have to go along, guess a state or pick a radius. You can actually go in there, look at a map and say, okay, what's around this city? I'd like to visit my brother, my in-laws in this city and see what's going on there. And it makes searching and finding those classes a heck of a lot easier, because the biggest thing, I've done a lot of stuff with scouting over the years, and the thing that always, frustrates me is when you have a scout group somewhere in the country that they can't get their instructors trained because there's no training counselors around them, but they're right down the street. And that's because they just don't know how to find them properly. And then they end up traveling 300 or 400 miles, additional expenses for it. And this is one of those things with the app. It makes it really simple. And as Al talked about, this is version 1. Hopefully next year at this time, we're in version 2, 3, 4, something like that down the road. You can just see how this could kind of snowball to where if you are a 2A involved, that you're going to want to go there for competitions, go there for legislative, go there for magazines, go there for training. Basically, it's going to be that home screen for your phone that if you're 2A involved, that you're going to want to go to. And that's a great goal. And I think, Al knows there's a lot of things that can be done. We just got to fine tune it to the amount of resources that we can afford to spend on it. But it's great start.
Speaking of that, Rob, I actually just did a search. I'm not going to put the address, but I just did a search doing an NRA basic pistol instructor course coming up in June, and boom, shows up on the map. So
yep, I'm doing some next couple months too, and they showed up right away. That was one of the first things I checked out.
It has affiliated clubs. It's going to have our Friends of NRA program. You can anything that in that area, if you want to go through and look through that, download, go to that app and that link, and you can look at different training. Like Rob said, we're just getting started. We got to get more information on this, but this is the go-to. This is our goal. Even at the annual meeting, we had a separate app for the annual meeting this year. But next year we'll have that merged with this app, so there'll be one app for everybody. It's the go-to for NRA.
That's great.
The hub.
That's our goal.
Yep.
We have we do have a question here that I want to throw up. It's kind of New York related. It seems like there's a lot of New York stuff asking here. Do you think the media will have a perspective change regarding sensitive places? So New York State calls them sensitive places, restricted places, after seeing how vulnerable they were at the DC Hilton. I guess my thought is to that, if anybody else wants to add in, they're always pushing to ban guns when something like that happens. I don't know if that's going to change them and make them think that, maybe we need more guns. I don't think their mindset.
Well, the knee jerk in Pennsylvania is already to publicize it as a reason to ban all kinds of other stuff. So I think the anti-gun forces are going to capitalize on that using their playbook.
Yeah, they don't need an excuse. They're doing it all over. Look at Virginia and look at all these other states right now. It's just, they're just trying to build up momentum to undermine, the Constitution. And, those are the battles we're going to fight. Unfortunately, right now, we're in what we call the Trump slump. Everybody is happy and not engaged. And that's what we really need to do, is get everybody fired up, get ready for the midterms. Are going to be our biggest fight ever. We can lose an entire generation if we don't get everybody activated. And
Virginia's a wake-up call. You one bad election cycle and it's over. I mean, if you look at the laws in Virginia a year ago, Virginia was reasonably very pro-gun, in the grand scheme of things, although it did have a mandatory training component. Mostly it was very pro-gun and gone like that. I can say in Pennsylvania, we're literally 2 senators away from turning into Virginia. If it flips that way. And that's not the only state where we have that. I think what you've mentioned is very important. This midterm election, we have to get gun owners motivated to not just register to vote, which it's surprising how few gun owners actually are registered. It's actually sickening. We did our gun bash for FOAC in Pennsylvania. It's one of our big fundraisers. We do 2 a year, and I was emceeing it, and I said, hey, how many people are here registered to vote? And we had about 1,200 people in the room, and it felt like someone hit me in the guts when I saw how few hands went up. And so one of the things I'm doing, and I'm working with the guys at ILA too, to help, work together on this, is I'm just pushing all sportsmen's clubs, all the trainers, everybody in my home state of Pennsylvania to get their members, to get their students, to get their clients all registered to vote and advise them on who are the pro-gun candidates.
I'd love to reach out to you afterwards. So I'm the chair of Ledge Policy, and we're working now on the development of our strategic plan. Get ILA focus and going and thinking a few steps ahead. And
well, you've got a friend in Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, I love Pennsylvania.
A friend in me.
So Klint, here's an idea with that. We did this in Florida because Pennsylvania is a huge hunting state. When you buy a Florida hunting license and fishing license, it asks you at the end when you buy it, are you a registered voter? And would you like to register to vote? Wow. So we put that and attach that to the hunting side of it. and that picked up a lot of people that, you know, just weren't thinking about it. So
I want
different ways.
I want to go back and answer your listener's question in a slightly different manner, and that is that there's a Supreme Court case that is going to come out in June, which is the Wolford case, and it's Hawaii, the vampire rule. And so that is going to address some of the sensitive places on a Supreme Court level. And so some states are really going to feel the heat of that. So there's a couple different things. Marijuana and the sensitive places are both coming out of the Supreme Court before the last day of June. And we'll know more given that.
Good. Yeah, definitely. We have another question here. How about doing voter cards when you're teaching classes? Eric asked. You know, and I actually all my website has Trigger the Vote, the NRA Trigger the Vote link, as well as obviously join the NRA. And then every email when somebody registers, they can put in their NRA number, and then also emails that go out to them, ask them to, you know, here, trigger the vote, try to drive that traffic to getting people to vote.
You know, in that aspect, one of the things that I think that we could do, and it would really take most of the pro-gun folks, is to work, because you want registering to vote is a non-denominational, whatever, you know, nonpartisan issue. How about if every FFL had voter registration cards, and when you bought a gun, it says, "Are you registered to vote?" Because your rights are being attacked, and so you need to have a voice, and that's all they have to do, because they're not asking where they are, anything. It's singularly a Second Amendment issue.
Maybe it should go along with the gun lock, where New York State requires every gun to come with a lock, right? Include it with it, or the gun safety cards that a lot of companies will put in. I think, that's a good point. Yeah, especially if we got that many people not registered, like Klint mentioned.
Well, what was that Hunters thing, Charlie? Do you know that, where they're doing there's some kind of group, Hunters something or other,
Hunt the Vote.
Okay.
Hunt the Vote. Yep. Yeah, Hunt the Vote. Great organization. Made a big difference in a lot of states, and working on bolstering them right now. We do a lot of partnerships with them.
That's great.
But, you know, most of the, you know, unfortunately, the election season is, you know, we've got a lot of guys sitting in deer stands then, and we just need to get them out for one morning. Just vote or vote early.
Well, they won't be able to sit in deer stands if, you know, the anti-gun crowd has their way, because they'll take every gun that they possibly can. And if they can't do that, they'll take the ammo.
Yeah, I think there's two common misconceptions that I think we all, everyone here, and obviously we probably all do this anyhow, but everyone listening, you know, talk to the people in your sphere of influence. First of all, the biggest misconception is that people will convince themselves that their vote does not matter. And if that were truly the case, why would politicians and people running for office spend so much money to get it? So it absolutely does matter. Secondly, a lot of people who are very self-sufficient want government out of their life, so they feel by not registering, they're going to stay out of doing court duty, and which is a fallacy, that too. But by not voting, you're not staying out of having government stay out of your life. You're actually inviting it back into your life. And every vote that you don't cast is a vote roundabout going to the anti-gun forces.
Klint, you're absolutely right. When you see the margins on these races, you're only talking a handful of votes make a difference in each of these districts. And then also those folks that don't vote, you know, Ronald Reagan said, you know, in his Peace Through Strength, that when you're weak, you invite aggressors. And that's what happens, is when we don't show up to vote, we show weakness. And that allows these leftists to come in and dominate us. You know, we need to win them back. And you take a look at Virginia. Look at how many sportsmen are there, and Michigan and Minnesota. And, you know, we just need to get them out and neutralize that vote.
For sure. How is it down there for you, Megan, as far as the political climate and such?
Well, fortunately, being in Kansas, it is a much more gun-friendly state than Virginia or some of the others. But still, it is surprising to see the people that haven't been voting, maybe they are registered to vote, but they don't actually show up that day to vote. So I think it's also important to close that gap of not only being registered to vote, but make sure they actually make it there, either in advance voting or mail or that day of making it there to vote, and realizing how even the midterms and other, primary general elections, like that, they're all so important for us to vote in.
Harumph. Yes.
We got one more. Brandon Herrera lost to Tony Gonzalez by 122 votes.
Yeah.
I think that's David, and he's talking about the last election, because I think this election Tony Gonzalez resigned or something. So
yeah, he's out. Yeah.
I think Brandon might actually get it this time, hopefully.
But 122 votes. Think about that.
Right. Yeah. That's so close.
Yeah, people should vote all up and down the ballot.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Dog catcher.
County, we had one of the council members decide on which votes would be counted. And because of someone that no one ever heard of, because they don't vote in local elections, that person determined which votes could get counted. Therefore, it changed the race in one of the elections here. So yeah, vote for dog catcher if it's on the ballot, and vet them out. Consult with the NRA and state level groups to see who actually are pro-gun.
Yeah, complacency and apathy are our worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we really are dealing with. And that's why we put the political victory fund out there, where you can look and see the grades and the ratings on these candidates. But we need people to be active. And that's what the legislators respect when they look at the numbers there. And you want to be counted. I'm not afraid to stand up and say I'm a gun owner. I'm proud of that. And they should too.
So I'll bet your guess you can get the voter guides right off of the app too.
You're going to just give us time. We are working on that. Nice. Absolutely. We're going to have trigger the vote on there. Absolutely. We want people to get everything.
But Al, to your point, if there's two lists, one that says I have guns and one that says I don't have guns, which list do you want to be listed on? Oh. I don't want to be on a list that says come to my house and mug me. I want, if there's two lists, I know which one I want on.
Well, we're all, quite honestly, we're all already on a list. I mean, they can, with technology today, they know who we are.
Yep.
And so we should embrace that and say, that's fine. I'm proud of that. And I'm going to protect that where I'm at with our position on this. So I think, we just need to get past that. You can stick your head in the sand, but that's not going to help.
For sure. Yeah, I'm surprised how many people in my classes where I'll ask them what AR stands for, and they're saying assault rifle, automatic rifle, and listen, I love America, but it doesn't stand for American rifle either. No. It's Armalite, and the media is just totally drilled it into their heads that ghost gun and assault rifle. They just put these negative words in front of words that they want to try to discredit.
Well, look, they're using the words, smart guns. So if they use the word smart gun, that infers that there is a stupid gun, right? It's sort of like silly putty. And is there serious putty? Maybe.
Serious putty.
That's valid.
Maybe it's C4.
Ooh.
Like that.
Come out with a bang. I like it. We got one more question before we round out the time here. So Mike's asking, truth video you saw on Facebook, reciprocity, obtained CCP. I think what he's asking, there's a lot of organizations out there that are trying to make it seem like or even some of the fake news stories where there's a new court ruling or something. There's nothing that's come out of the Supreme Court that I know of, and I'm assuming you guys could all attest this, where there's any kind of national reciprocity or national concealed carry, permitless carry, many different names for it, constitutional carry. At this point, there's nothing new on that front.
There is some reciprocity that will get you. I don't think it'll go 43 states though. I think it's 38, 39, somewhere in there.
Yeah, the most you can get up to is if you have New York, Utah, Florida, and PA, it's like 40 states total. So it's.
There again, that's our number one issue in Congress, and we're only a handful of representatives and senators away from being able to do that. We've got to get past that 60 vote cloture, and if we just get a handful of senators, so if people show up to the polls and we can enlarge in our margins there, that will be the first thing on our list. And so it's a big one where hopefully that's the first one out of the chutes if folks turn out to vote.
Iran's just got to give up so that this thing will turn around.
Yeah.
Well, right. I think national reciprocity and national constitutional carry, although that already does technically exist with our Second Amendment, I think that will happen. I absolutely do. You know, we got 28 states now that are 28 that are constitutional carry. There's a lot of reciprocity now. Bills like this have been close before, so to think that it could happen, you know, sooner than later is not terribly over anxious. But yes, when it does happen, New York's going to revolt and they're going to change their sensitive places and there's going to be court cases and stuff. But when you look at the court cases that have happened at the state Supreme Court level and the federal Supreme Court level, like incrementalism works. You know, the folks that started these fights in Pennsylvania and other states, you know, in the early 90s, it was all about, we want shall issue, you know, and here we are with that many places that it's just constitutional carry. So maybe not in my lifetime, but in my son's lifetime, I think those court cases will run their course and we'll have that liberty back. But I tell you what, you know, looking at Virginia as an example, and you know, I'm actually currently right now in New Hampshire teaching a class, and I got a lot of guys there from Massachusetts. Once you lose those rights at the state level, it is very, very, very hard to get it back. So let's learn from Virginia and in Pennsylvania and other states. It's like we need to show up for these midterms, get the gun owners out there and vote pro-gun.
Well, NRA was founded in New York State, and look where we are now, all these years later.
You need to run for governor, Matt Mallory. Matt Mallory for governor.
Yeah, one of the sheriffs is the. Here. Thanks, Rob. Well, we definitely cannot forget to let everybody know to join meetthepressers.com/giveaways to join in on some of our great giveaways from some of our sponsors. I'm going to put that up on the screen right now. So we've got Gideon Arms, we got Otis. We've got Mantis, we've got Next Level Training, we've got Excess Sites, and we've got Active Self-Protection. Let's go ahead and hit the website and get in on that. We're going to be drawing the winner of that coming up here in the beginning of May within about a week. So,
wow. Yeah, we got some great sponsors.
Absolutely. Well, everybody, any closing thoughts or last words of wisdom for everybody out there listening and watching in the future?
Yeah, I've got one. And that is, you know, Klint's like, I don't know if I'm going to see it in my lifetime. Think about this. Heller versus DC was 2008, right? I mean, it's only 2026. So in 18 years, we've gone from Heller to McDonald to Bruin, you know, and these cases are coming out. It really, even though statewide, it seems like, you know, they're just coming after us on a federal level, on a big level, we are winning. Time after time after time. Yeah. And so it feels really good. And know that the NRA is behind that. The NRA supported the Bruin case. They funded the Bruin case. And so we're here and we're fighting and we want you to join us.
Absolutely. And just so people know, the Bruin decision took 7 years to get to the Supreme Court. 7 years. So the wheels of justice move ever so slowly is true.
Heller took 13.
13. There you go.
Heller took 13. McDonald took 2, and then Bruin took 7.
Yeah. The anti-Americans keep poking the bear, and it's time to stand and fight, everybody. We need you all.
Yeah. So if you're not a member of the NRA, you need to join.
Absolutely.
It's, some of the best money you can spend for your Second Amendment rights, especially at the federal level, but also the state, and not to mention for educational purposes and just staying well informed.
Yep.
Download the app. You don't have to be a member to download the app. Is that correct?
That's correct. I was just going to say that, Clint. Thank you. Yeah, we want you to get on there and explore it, and then we want you to join because there's going to be a lot of information there.
Yeah.
Yes, stay informed and get involved. I would say that I'd like to point out that there's a place for everyone in the NRA. So no matter how young you are, female, male, you know, whatever, wherever you live and whatever you're involved in or passionate about, there's a place for you within the NRA.
You're here.
Yep. And to quote a famous American, John Paul Jones, we have just begun to fight. And that's what it feels like. We've got a lot of work to do. We've got a great board. We've got a lot of high aspirations and such. And I think you will see us going for the next 3 years, going very hard at being representing the membership as best we're able to on all fronts.
Well, excellent. I don't think we could say anything better than that, Rob, as you wrap things up. So with that said, folks, I greatly appreciate the work that you're putting in representing me as an NRA life member, and
same here.
You know, running for this any office is a sacrifice for yourself and your family, and you know it's no different here with the NRA. Maybe it's a little bit different than if you were running for Congress or something like that. But I got to say that the amount of time, effort, and energy you put in this, just because of your love of protecting the freedom of all Americans, is admirable, and I want to thank you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
there's just one more comment.
Vote for Matt.
Vote Matt.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. Got one vote. Everybody, appreciate you. Everybody out there, thanks for watching. And you know, check out the NRA if you haven't, or if you have in the past and went away, come back. I'm glad to have you. Everybody, stay safe. Have a great night.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Thanks, Clint.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.